Guess whose videos I can now use without getting copyright struck? That's right, Onision. Do you want to know why? Because as of today, January 20th, 2021, Greg has lost and been kicked out of the YouTube Partnership Program. For those of you who don't know, that means that you cannot monetize your content in any capacity. They sent him this email in which he posted a farewell video saying this. Hi, James. Responsibility is our #1 priority at YouTube, and it's important to us to ensure that the creators are empowered to use their influence responsibly in the YouTube community and beyond. With that in mind, we've recently reviewed your channels, Onision Speaks, and Uh-Oh Bro, and took action on content that violated our community guidelines. We are also concerned about continued allegations of off-platform behavior related to kiddo safety that could cause significant harm to the community, violating our creator responsibility guidelines with our YouTube Partnership Program policies. These guidelines explain that we don't allow this type of behavior that have a large negative impact on the community. Additionally, this means that you should be respectful of viewers to your fellow creators and our advertisers. Respectful to your viewers is definitely something Greg never definitely was. Remember my video I made about him on Patreon where he literally went after a fan because they pledged $2 to him and that wasn't enough? But this also is not the first time Onision has been banned from something. Remember, he was banned from Patreon for posting and doxing an ex of his on Twitter, and Patreon suspended his account for off-platform behavior. Therefore, we have determined that your channels will be indefinitely suspended from the YouTube Partnership Program and no longer eligible to monetize. Once the suspension goes through effect, you'll have blah, 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 blah. I'm not gonna lie here. I'm rejoicing, but at the same time, also very, very confused. Because this, let me explain what I mean by this. Over the last 10 years, Onision has had one of his channels a artist channel. And what we found is that having an artist channel or a music channel on YouTube allows you access to YouTube's known as their content ID system. Now, over the last 10 years, and this is not just with me, this is with tons of other YouTubers, creators, commentaries, channels, whatever, anytime you would use video footage of Greg, he would either claim the video, and if you would appeal the video, he would then copyright strike you. Over the last 10 years of my coverage of Onision, he has removed over 25 of my videos over 10 years. Literally, he has filed false copyright strikes and had them taken down. Then I had to appeal it, and then I had to wait 20 days, and the video was always restored. Now, on YouTube's terms of service, they talk about false copyright abuse, and they have this little specific section right here that talks about that if you file fraudulent DMCAs, copyright strikes, that eventually you'll be terminated or suspended. Now, over the last 10 years, they never fell through. YouTube never did anything, despite this being an overwhelmingly glaring, and hundreds of YouTubers, bigger than me at some point, talking about this blatant copyright abuse over and over and over and over and over. Now, the last year and a half, I've stemmed away from using any video footage of Greg because I just got so fed up with it. I was tired of having videos, some of them weren't even monetized, being copyright struck and removed because I used video footage. And now with him being suspended through the monetization program of YouTube's partnership, he can't do that anymore. I mean, he can, but he loses content ID. So now that if he wants to file a copyright strike, he has to do it manually. And manual copyright strikes are harder to go through YouTube's system. They are. If you have an artist channel or a content ID system in your YouTube account, it's way easier to, file copyright strikes, get people's videos removed, so on and so forth. The reason that I bring this up is what's concerning is I'm happy over this. I am. Why did it take this long for it to happen? That's what gets me upset. Hundreds of people, millions of people have made, millions of views have been made talking about and showcasing this type of behavior and things he's done and said online. And yet, only now, with episode 3 of that Onision documentary dropping, is it finally taken seriously. Now, I'm not dumb, and I'm not going to say the documentary didn't have an influence or effect on this happening. It absolutely did. I'm simply attributing the fact that this is on national television, the documentary series, another corporation, a streaming service that's very, 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 very big, that's bringing in, a lot of publicity, negative publicity, the biggest publicity we've ever seen with Onision being spoken about negatively on television now. And now YouTube, because another corporation is involved with exposing him, whether the documentary is good or bad, that's not the point. The point is, this documentary is the reason that this happened, no doubt. And I'm also, unlike this, but I'm also like, man, this is crazy. It's crazy that another corporation has to be involved in order for action to be taken. This was a long time coming. It should have happened years ago. It really should have. There are videos on his channel that blatantly violate terms of service that YouTube has. But because his channel was an artist channel, music channel, he was able to, you know, pretty much get away with so much stuff. And now that a television series in places like Mashable and Insider and all these big websites are actually covering the documentary, this is the result, is him finally getting his partnership revoked. Now notice, he's not actually deplatformed. He can still upload videos, he can still post on his channel. It's just that the YouTube partnership program has been revoked, so he has no way to make money through YouTube. And quite frankly, I believe it is deserved. How many rules and how many things are you going to break before action finally happens, right? If YouTube had followed through with their DMCA policy of filing false DMCAs, even Chris Hansen, his original YouTube channel, Hansen vs. P, that channel was suspended for multiple copyright violations because Chris Hansen was uploading content on his other YouTube channel that wasn't him or that he didn't own, and he was copyright struck and his channel was terminated. Which to me just shows that, well, YouTube definitely took action on Chris Hansen's original channel for copyright. I don't know why they couldn't ever do it with Greg. All of his terrible videos outing exes and saying horrible things about his relationships and outing personal details that should never be online happened because YouTube never took action until now. But it's now that everybody's been hurt and had their personal life blasted out on the internet for thousands and millions of people to see, and a documentary that threw a lot of people under the bus and included people who didn't want to get involved, that this happened. So it's like, this is really good, but it's also really bad. This is wild to me. I never thought we'd be in this day and age where, like, I'm happy, but I'm also, like, disappointed at the same time with just how this is operating. Because it is a wild, this is, as far as I'm aware, this is the first time I've ever seen YouTube, and correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong on this, feel free to correct me. I've never seen YouTube actually suspend somebody's partnership monetization through, quote, off-platform behavior. And guess what? There's a lot of off-platform behavior that Onision has done. And depending on what you do off-platform, I think it's okay for the companies to do this. It all depends on what you're doing, obviously. I don't think that just because you say something controversial on another platform, you should therefore be banned on something else. I think that's silly and that's going too far. But depending on what there is evidence out there of you doing, of things that you're saying, a lot of people don't like this, but like YouTube can get rid of whoever they want. Twitter can get rid of whoever they want. I don't like censorship, but at the same time, that's what these big social media websites do. If something pulls bad publicity or makes them look bad, if they want to censor somebody or censor somebody's videos, they can and they will, and there's not a goddamn thing that you or I can do about that. Like, what power do I have to say they can't do this? Even if I vocalize they shouldn't do this or shouldn't ban this person, YouTube's not going to listen to me. YouTube and social media platforms don't listen to their community base. That would be a rare thing for YouTube, Twitter, or any social platform to listen to its community. That just doesn't happen. I'm going to finish up with my book reviews, but for the most part, I feel accomplished. I feel like him being demonetized is the final nail in the coffin. I don't really know how he's going to survive on YouTube at this point, because having your entire channel demonetized and indefinitely suspended is a huge deal, and the algorithm's never going to promote you ever when this happens. So, I feel like I can finally stem away from Onision content. But yeah, I wanted to update you guys on this, because, like, it's a pretty big deal. 10 years and this finally happens. 10 years, that's a long time. Thank you for everybody who stuck along with me for the ride of decade of the Onision saga. I truly, utterly feel like this is the end. And outside of his book reviews, I'm going to move on to better and more enjoyable things to cover on this channel. I have a lot of content in the works, and I hope you guys are excited for it. I know that I am. All of my socials are linked down below. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. And to everybody who's watching, here's a virtual high five. Clap. I'm going to go stream some Call of Duty on Twitch. And yeah, what a year, 2021. Trump is out of the office, and Onision gets his channel revoked of monetization completely. All on the same day. Wow.